Do you ever get incredibly aware that you're eating a dead animal while consuming meat? I get it more when I'm prepping something with meat and I have to cook it. Something inside of me gets completely repulsed by it. IDK if it's the smell and how it feels, but it really freaks me out. I got too high once. Heated up a leftover plate of large beef ribs smothered in barbecue sauce, and ended up tossing what looked like a horrific pile of flesh, bone and blood. Yes, I've learned to respect meat. No wasting, no letting it go bad. Having a dog helps. Yep, I noticed this when I was like 10 and became vegetarian at 13. Yes, I always pictured the meat as a live animal. IDK couldn't help it. I'm happily 10 years vegetarian. Eating is a little hard in the US because the American diet loves meat. But what you'll learn is it's not really necessary. Yup. And I stopped eating meat because of it. To me it feels uncomfortable to eat something I'm only comfortable with if I'm not thinking about what it actually is. But to each their own. I'm always aware of it. I got pretty stoned about a year ago and was eating a ribeye and an IDK what it was, but it was almost an involuntary response. Started gagging and crying due to being high and thinking too deeply about said animal, and haven't been able to put it on my plate since. Once you hit that realization along with what that animal must have been feeling and experiencing up until the moment they were slaughtered, and then we as humans are digesting that? Yeah, that's gonna be a no from me, dog. That's how I became a vegetarian 25 years ago. I only thought about it sometimes in the beginning. But after half a year or so, I couldn't see meat without thinking, weird, biting into a corpse's leg. So I made myself a last ham sandwich and that's that. No moral reasons. No climate awareness or love for animals. Just got bored with my inner monologue. Not too much. However, I remember eating ribs as a kid and pretending I was a ravenous dinosaur eating another animal. I don't have any problems knowing I'm eating a dead animal at all. I get it though. I had a GF who wouldn't eat chicken wings bone in. Reminded her that she's actually eating a dead animal. As someone who grew up on a small family farm with cattle, and who occasionally had to help butcher one. Yes. Yes. Not to be that person, but I'm sorta gonna be that person. Sophomore year of college. One of my roommates at the time identified as being vegan. I was kind of annoyed how she kept mentioning it. It fed into the stereotype. Coming from an Italian family. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. At that point I wasn't unfamiliar with plant-based alternatives like milk. But I did still eat meat. She kept urging me to watch some documentaries. I finally gave in. Now, these were as unbiased as they came. They essentially didn't tell you how to think, rather what to think about. That I liked. Anyway, after researching endlessly and watching those documentaries, they completely left me thinking this way. All I could think about was not knowing where this technically came from. And that it was an animal. I didn't see it as a product anymore. This fended away red meat for me and dairy. I now identify as plant-based, but that's it, because sometimes I'm human and if I'm out or travel, hell, I'm eating dishes even if they contain animal products like meat. But the gist of the story is yup. That's all I can think about. Yes, that's why I turned vegetarian. The feeling got worse the older I got, and finally one day I gagged eating a steak, and I fucking love steak. I still want steak every once in a while, but the chewing sensation just doesn't sit well with me anymore, unfortunately. /
No.
I think that I'm an hypocrite. I feel bad for them, but I keep eating them because it's too good to let go. And that's the reason I'm vegan. Cold sweat smile. When I was a kid and learned meat was from dead animals, I just taught about seeing some roadkill. And why I'd want to put that in my mouth. Haven't eaten meat since. Meat is weird. Okay, so, hear me out. I eat meat. I am meat. You are meat. We are all meat. And meat is weird. I've struggled with the idea of meat for a few years now. And I've been on and off as a vegetarian. Or seeking out non-lethal modes for me to enjoy the idea of meat. AKA fake meat. And what I've learned is this. The system we have for food manufacturing is so inherently cruel that we need to disassociate ourselves from it, or we will be overwhelmed with guilt. I don't know how to solve the issue. But for me, I've kept meat on the menu while making it the smallest percentage of what I do consume. And since I eat less meat, when I do prepare it at home, I try to spend the extra to purchase meat that came from an animal that didn't suffer its entire existence. I think that's important to do. It supports good farming practices. But this also doesn't solve the problem. Animals are aware, and in spite of having a great life, in the end it was slaughtered, and I'm sure terrified. When I eat out or get offered food somewhere, I just suck it up and try not to think about it. But at home I try to keep it as humane as possible. I've worked on farms, been hunting, and tried to participate in the process so that I can grasp all that goes on. But all it's done is made me despair more about the state of animals in our society. For those of us where being vegetarian isn't the way, and arguably, a limited meat diet is better for the environment than an extreme diet of no meat at all. Making ethical choices to the best of your ability is the only thing I can think of. Good luck. Cows are cute and love to play. Chickens cuddle. And pigs have feelings. As a hunter and a fisherman who regularly eats what I take, you gain a great respect for the animals whose life is gone to sustain your own. Knowing you are eating something previously living and breathing just reminds me that I have a responsibility to continue to protect the wildlife that remains. More people should understand where their food comes from, be thankful for it, and do better to not waste what has been given up. Our veganism would love this.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. TooAfraidToAsk is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.